Today, we're going to be touring a super yacht built in the United States. This is a 40-meter Tri-Deck Westport, which was first delivered in 2014. Now, this yacht is presented by the Italian Yacht Group, so thank you to them for granting me access on board. This yacht features 5 staterooms, and it can also house up to 8 crew members. And this yacht has only had one owner since it was first delivered. It's been meticulously maintained, and it also has a very successful charter history, which is great if you're looking to offset your costs. And as you can see, this yacht is so massive, it has a very commanding presence, and you can also access the aft deck from either staircase. So we'll make our way on board via the port side. So we have a very wide staircase heading up, and we're greeted by this lovely aft deck area where you can see the alfresco dining table. And we also have a place to hang out with the row of bench seating with the additional tables. Now from here, we can get up to the bridge deck aft via the staircase. There's also a fold-down TV, and that's located right over by the bar. And then if you want to have a meal here, this area is extremely protected by the hardtop, but also it can get very windy back here. And a solution for that, with these hallways, we have a door right here. So this will swing all the way across and completely block off the space, so you won't get any of that wind noise that's flowing through this section. And on the other side, we have the same exact thing. I also really like the side deck design on this yacht, because we can get all the way up to the foredeck from this main level, but then also up on the bridge deck, there's another side deck, and I'll show you how all of this works so you can easily get around. All right, I think we've seen enough of this beautiful, expansive aft deck area. Now we're gonna make our way inside via these power glass doors. And guys, we've been on a lot of super yachts at this point on the channel, but these Westports always do the best job, in my opinion, of giving you that floating mansion on the water feeling. And I think you're gonna feel that as we go throughout this tour, because take a look at this main salon. This truly feels like a home away from home, in the most luxurious of ways. The TV, it's hidden just behind this section. But I love how expansive this area is. We have the small table over here. And then we can see the main seating area. And guys, you may have noticed it's extremely wet outside. The teak was absolutely drenched. It's been raining all day here at the Fort Lauderdale International Boat Show. It's currently day 1. You probably didn't see it, but I did dry off my feet before we made our way onto this carpet. And as much as I'd love to hang out in this space all day, that there's a lot of yacht to see. So we will head forward to this beautiful formal dining room. I also wanted to mention we have storage along the entire length of this area. So over in the dining room, but also in all these different places in the main salon. And then there are 2 ways to access the galley. One of them is through this door, but we can also get access through another door over by the side entrance, which you'll find right here. And then of course, the stairs leading down to the guest cabins and also up to the bridge deck. But there's still a lot to see on this level. So before we head up or down, let's continue forward. Here, we will find the day head. And then I mentioned a second way to access the galley, and that's through this door, which grants you access into the crew domain. So if we turn this way, this is where we find the galley. The crew has a side access door, a ton of storage built in. There's also a TV. Then if we look over here, over this bar, you have a lot of counter space and prep space. You can see your Sub-Zero freezer and refrigerator, as well as your other appliances. Looks like we have Miele appliances. And you'll see even in the curves, all the spaces are utilized very well with a mix of wine fridges, drink fridges, your dishwasher, drawer refrigerators. And then here, of course, is the door that leads out to the dining room. And then if we head down this staircase, this is where all the crew cabins are located, and it's a very wide staircase. And you can also see it's finished very nicely down here. So we have this large crew mess. You can also find the laundry room. Then it also looks like additional refrigerators are down here. And then we have 2 crew cabins on either side. These are both bunk rooms with en-suites. And then we have an additional cabin right over here. Thank you so much. Then if we head back out into the hallway, continuing forward, we'll find the owner's suite. And also that last cabin we saw, that was the captain's cabin. But here when we step in, you have an office space. And then continuing forward, this room of course is the full beam. We have this beautiful bed, and all the wood that you see throughout this yacht is a lightly stained mahogany. You'll see a dressing table on the far side of the room. Your TV is mounted. And then we have walk-in closets on either side, just in front of the bed. And you'll see that same beautiful woodwork all throughout. Let's come around to the other side. And then we have a gorgeous ensuite with the double vanity right over here. We have a large shower with a small bench, and it's also a rainfall shower. Actually, it looks like it's much more than that because we have the multiple nozzles and shower heads. So this must be an incredible spa-like experience. And then behind this, ironically extremely thick door, which I always like to point out, whenever you have a very thick and sturdy door, that is a sign of quality. But in here, you see the toilet and bidet. So now we've seen the entirety of the main level, in addition to the galley, as well as downstairs in the crew area. Now we're going to head down to see the other guest cabins. And as mentioned in the intro, we have 5 cabins in total, which means, you probably guessed it, we have 4 cabins down here. And although this is a 40-meter yacht, because they opted for just 4 guest cabins down here, all of them are extremely spacious, and we also have this very large landing area. This is a closet and storage space for the crew. It also looks like we have our IT rack. And then we'll start with the smallest cabin, although the word smallest is very relative, because these are still extremely large rooms. And you'll see in here, this is a convertible space, where we have the nightstand over here, and the 2 beds are pushed together. But across, in this mirrored cabin, you can see what it looks like with the 2 beds pushed apart. And actually, it's hard to tell with how this is set up in the middle. These two actually might be permanently apart. And then over here, it looks like in this cabin, you get the option. Either way, it's a great bit of flexibility. And once again, extremely large en-suites. I don't think anyone's going to be complaining, even if you're staying in one of the quote-unquote smaller cabins. And of course, don't worry, I will show you the en-suite in the other cabin. And now we're going to head aft and we're going to check out the VIP cabins. You have an extremely large bed in this room. And I think the blue wallpaper looks really good with all of these wood accents. Blue is actually my favorite color, so maybe I'm a little biased, but I think this tone works really well together. And then we have the double vanity in here, as well as the toilet, bidet. And then on the other side, this is where we find the shower. And then last but not least, cabin number 2 or 3. You'll find that right here. Just like the last one, absolutely stunning. And hopefully by now at this point in the tour, you're picking up what I'm talking about when I say that this yacht truly feels like you're on a floating mansion. Every space is extremely comforting while still being extremely luxurious. And it really makes you feel right at home. If, of course, your home is a bougie, luxurious space. All right, now we've seen all of the guest cabins as well as the owner suite. And I think it's time we made our way upstairs. It's getting pretty late at the show, so it's starting to get a little dark out. Heading up this staircase, this brings us directly into the Sky Lounge. Further proving my point about what I was talking about before. This space looks extremely warm and inviting while still being extremely luxurious. And you probably wouldn't have guessed this, but I think this just puts the cherry on top. You actually have a fireplace in the Sky Lounge just under the massive TV. And then over here, you will also find the day head. And also, it looks like we have a wet bar with your sink, and I imagine, yep, some refrigeration underneath. And another powered glass door. But before we head out there, let's head forward and check out the bridge. It's located right through this door, and I think the captain is currently in, so we might have to swap places with him or her. So stepping through this door, we'll have a side access door on either side. You have an oversized steering wheel, which is such a classic touch. And some of them are turned off, but we also have the oversized multifunction displays. And you have those same warm materials all throughout this space, with 2 captain's chairs, in addition to this elevated bench and table. The captain has their office space over here. And then we're also very far forward, so you get great visibility from this bridge. And we're not going to go up to the foredeck yet. First, we're going to check out the bridge deck aft. Thank you. So once again, another powered glass door, and it's still very wet out here, but you'll see we have this seating arrangement, and this is all freestanding. There's also a TV that folds down and another wet bar, and this one also has the grill built in. And then you probably noticed from the intro, you don't have a large swim platform or a tender garage back there. So where are you gonna store your tenders? Up on the bridge deck, of course. So back here, and this of course can be customized to your liking, but you'll see this 3,000-pound crane. So you can store multiple tenders or a tender and multiple jet skis or any combination thereof of any type of water toy. And of course, you also have the loungers. So when you need to store something up here, you move this out of the way, or if your tenders are out in the water, you could put furniture out here. And then also, this staircase leads down to the aft deck where we started the tour. And before we head up to the sun deck, it's another beautiful area on this yacht. Let's head all the way forward. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was talking about side decks. You can see we can make our way all the way forward up to the foredeck. There is a wing station right next to the door to the bridge. And coming around, they did a good job utilizing the space. We have the U-shaped seating with your convertible table. You also have a lot of space here, so you could add additional chairs or bean bags or really whatever you wanted up here. And then this is a multi-tiered level because there's another small deck here, or at least platform is probably a better term. And then if you continue down, this is all teak lined. And this is a mix of business and pleasure. You can see your bollards, the winches, the bell. But then we also have the small bench and table all the way forward. And you can also see the umbrellas that are above the bench up in this foredeck area. And then the side decks will continue all the way back to those glass doors that we saw just in front of the aft deck space. So that's what I was trying to talk about earlier when I mentioned that there's side decks on both levels. You don't always see that on these super yachts. So I think this configuration makes it very easy to get around. And if we were done with all the spaces, we'd probably just head back on the side deck. But we still have to check out the sun deck, which we will do now. So let's head back on the other side. And if you made it this far in the video, I assume you're enjoying what you're watching, so please go ahead and leave a like on the video, and also subscribe if you're new to the channel, hit the notification bell so you never miss out on a future upload. Also, one last request, when you're done watching, or as you're watching, leave a comment down in the comment section. I love to interact with you guys there, and I also enjoy hearing your opinions. Any type of engagement you leave on the channel helps out a ton with the YouTube algorithm, and I greatly appreciate it. Another thing that's greatly appreciated is this massive sun deck space. You can see another alfresco dining table. We have another setup of freestanding furniture. And then the dining table is underneath the hardtop. And you'll also see the TV that rises up. And then we also have another wet bar. And then all the way forward, everyone's favorite, we have a very large hot tub. And we also have the sun pads flanking either side, so your entire party can hang out together, even if you're not in the water. And you have to let me know in the comments, would you rather enjoy a meal up here on the sun deck or down at the beginning of the tour back on the aft deck? Or the third option, of course, is the formal dining room inside. Maybe you just never want to eat outside, and if that's your preference, let me know that as well. That's the beauty of these yachts. You have a lot of customizable options, and also you can use it exactly to your liking. So really, you can't go wrong. And these staircases line up pretty well, so we can just continue down. And now we're going to go into the engine room. And if we come back around the staircase, this is where we find the door to the engine room. All right, now that we have this door open, we're greeted by some additional cold storage. Always great for those long distance voyages. It also looks like we have a commercial ice maker. It looks like we have a dive center on board and some additional systems. Over here, we're asked not to go into it, but this is the chief engineer's office. And you can see they have a very large workspace. You have access to more systems through this door. And then there's even more space over on this side before we get to the engine room. So this is a very large space for the chief engineer to work and operate. And another way to get down here, there was a door that was up behind that glass door around the corner from the aft deck. So here's another way to gain access. But then here's what you're really all waiting for. The access to the engine room. It's through this door. And let's see what we can find. We have a wide walkway right in the middle. And then you can see all of the beautiful engineering that come with these super yachts. As well as the extremely large engines. You may have saw from the covers, but these are MTU engines. More specifically, this yacht comes with a pair of MTU 12V engines rated at 2,900 or 2,895 horsepower to be precise. Your top speed is pretty quick at 24 knots. Very impressive for a 40-meter yacht. You can cruise at 20 and you'll get about 1,650 nautical miles at that cruising speed, which, keep in mind, that's a very fast cruising speed. If you drop this down to 12 knots, you're looking at over 3,000 nautical miles of range. So clearly a very capable vessel, in addition to being so comfortable, homey, and luxurious on the inside. I can certainly see why this is such a popular charter yacht. All right, and I think we've seen every area, so let me give you one more look at the main salon, assuming that it's empty. And don't worry guys, I did wipe my feet because it is very wet. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you to the Italian Yacht Group for granting us access on board. This is an incredible Westport listing. Comment down below, let me know what you think, and we will catch you next time.